My dad was made to raise girls. Every night he used to come in and get on his knees and just pray over us and tuck us in. He told us stories about elephants and giraffes, and they all had names. He just was so intentional and so committed to us and to leading our family and to providing for our family and to making us feel very safe and secure. My dad was wired in such a way that his standards were high, and those were in large part positive for me, but in another way it also made me feel like I wasn't hitting those standards, even if he didn't mean to communicate that. There was definitely a culture of performance in our home.
I think that there was always an expectation. I'm just wired that way, probably to have these kids look good, reflect well on their family.
I didn't want barriers between me and my dad. I wanted to be so close to him. I wanted to enjoy all of the good things without fear of disappointing him.
There is an issue of pride, too much pride, particularly within the father, the dad, because we do want our families to look good. We want them to be. I remember just when we used to go see my parents, I'd want them all fixed up. I'd want their hair straight. I didn't want them sleeping in the car, right before we walked in, so they're groggy. I'd want everyone to have the appearance that we're the model family. We just walked out of a movie script and here we are.
It put in me fear that I wasn't pleasing him, which was my highest goal and desire in life. And so I think it did put a wedge in our relationship for a long time, that even though he was such a consistent, loving dad, I think I wasn't able to hear that for several years because I was afraid that I wasn't measuring up to something that he wanted.
I think that's probably what Jennie missed out on.
But I do think I had this hole of affirmation that I needed through those years that I think he wanted to give me. I don't know that he knew how or that he even knew it was needed.
To me, it probably didn't seem like I was doing anything abnormal because that's the way I was wired.
I felt like I had to measure up and win his approval, and I couldn't do it.
I'm sitting in my office at my home, and she said, "Dad, can I talk to you?" And she came in. I didn't really know where this was headed, and it was a very tearful time. I think it took a lot of courage for her to come in there and talk to me. But I tell you, I was probably moved more to tears to hear what she was saying. So that is kind of the emotional impact of it. If you're a perfectionist, you don't want to hear what's wrong with you. You want to hear what's right with you. But we've got to hear what's wrong with us in order to improve the relationship. It took a lot of courage for her to come in there and talk to me that way. But I needed to hear it.
I will never forget it as long as I live. He teared up hearing all of that, and he said, "Let me take you back to my childhood. Let me take you back to what it was like growing up in my home. And this was not your problem, this was my problem. And I struggled with perfectionism, and I put that on you." And I couldn't have imagined the freedom that would bring me, that to know that my dad loved me, that he was sinful, that he struggled with pride and perfectionism, and some of those sins had hit up on me as a kid.
It made me realize that Jennie had some needs that I did not meet. And you go back and reflect on that and say, how can I improve? What can I do better?
Now, I don't have a bigger cheerleader. Every time we talk, he's like, "I'm so proud of you, baby. I love you so much." It literally took a conversation with him to change our whole relationship. I would say to dads that you can't imagine how much your little girls just want to hear how proud you are of them, how much they are just looking at you and thinking, "Am I okay? Am I enough?" And how much they want to be the apple of your eye. When you fail at that, and when you feel like I have botched this completely, go in there and say, "I'm sorry, and I love you," and there's grace for that.